Yo guys, it's Griff here back with another video, and today we're doing a different video. We're doing one player every Premier League club needs to be able to complete their team for this summer. I'm going to start with Arsenal. I think Arsenal need to get Declan Rice over the line, especially because other teams want him, and I feel if Arsenal get him, they can challenge for that title even better than they are going to at the moment, because Declan Rice is a brilliant player, so I really do rate their chances. And it would cost him 80 million, so that would be quite a lot of money for him, but he is a really good player, and I feel like that would be able to maybe change the way their season will go. The next team is Aston Villa. I feel like Aston Villa could maybe sign Harvey Barnes, left winger from Leicester. I'm a Leicester fan, but I think Harvey Barnes is a really good player, and 38 million is quite a lot, but I think Leicester would be satisfied with that amount of money for him, as he is a very, very good player, and I feel like he would offer lots to Aston Villa, like the goals they need, because I feel like they need a winger to be able to complete that Europa League or Europa Conference League games to be able to win them. The next team is Bournemouth. I feel like Bournemouth need an informed Championship player, and I'm going for Ben Brereton Diaz. He's always had quality in the Championship. He plays for Blackburn at the moment. He's always been up there with some of the better players in the whole of the Championship. Every year he's very consistent. You just always expect the same from him, and he always provides. He nearly led Blackburn to the playoffs, but unfortunately didn't get there in the end. But Ben Brereton Diaz is a quality player, and 10 million would be a good signing for Bournemouth. The next team is Brentford. I feel like Brentford, if they want to push for that Europa League spot, I would say they need a CDM. I would say Roman Lavia from Southampton. He's a really good player, but some of the big teams are after him, so they would have to offer enough to be able to do it. So 25 million to Southampton, I thought that would be a good deal, and maybe Southampton would accept that. It just depends on him. The next team is Brighton. I think Kubo from Real Sociedad used to play for Real Madrid. He's a very good winger. He's a techie winger. He's very small. He's very quick. Really good finisher, and I feel like he'd work well with Mitoma on the wings, and costing him 15 million. I think Brighton could obviously bring that down, because Brighton are a really good side with the transfers they do. So I think this would be an insane signing, and I think actually with this they actually might do even better than they did last season, and this would be a really good signing for them. The next team is Burnley. Burnley, I think they've got a decent squad, but I feel like they need a very good player in them, just like Amrabat from Fiorentina. The Moroccan CDM is a really good player. It would cost him 20 million. He is currently playing for Fiorentina. As I've said, he's a really good player, and I feel like he would be really good defensively. He's got World Cup quality. He's played for Morocco in the latter stages, and he's a very, very good player. The next team is Chelsea. I think Chelsea shouldn't overspend this summer, even though Osimhen is a very expensive player. 82 million is worth it, because you know he's going to provide. He's easily the best striker in the whole of Serie A last season. He's a really good player. He's a proven goal scorer, and you know he's going to provide goals for Chelsea, and that's what they need. Next up is Crystal Palace. I feel like they need a centre-back, if I'm going to be honest. Charlie Cresswell from Millwall last year was a really, really good player, and I feel like he's got a lot to offer, and 10 million would be a really good offer for them, and I feel like he would accept that, and I think he would slot in well, and I think the Premier League is a good suited level for Charlie Cresswell after having experiences there before with Leeds. The next team is Everton. I think Everton need a striker like many other people do. I'm going for Rodrigo. Yes, he's a bit older, but I think he's proven he could easily bang in 12 goals a season, 15 even, like he did last season, and I feel like with the quality Everton have, he could really do well this season, and I feel like Rodrigo is a really good player, and 16 million for him, I think that's quite a good signing, if I'm going to be honest. The next team is Fulham. Fulham have a really good squad, so I don't think I was really struggling of thinking with Fulham, so I said Brennan Johnson, because I thought they needed a quick winger, I don't know about this one. Nottingham Forest, maybe 20 million or so, I would say. But I think Fulham, I think they're good enough as they are. Maybe make a few little signings for the bench and stuff, but otherwise they're pretty good. So this was only just like a one to make sure Fulham fans weren't, just left out. Next one, I think this is a bit controversial, is Guardiola from RB Leipzig. Yes, he is linked with Man City. Yes, he's probably linked with Chelsea. But I feel like Guardiola is a really good centre-back. Obviously he is, but I feel like he would fit in so well with Van Dijk, and their playing styles are just so similar, and they would just combine into an unstoppable defence. And I feel like if they had Guardiola, they have no way they're going to lose the title this season. I'm sorry. I feel like Guardiola is such a good player, honestly, so good. 80 million is what I think they'll have to offer, and Guardiola is probably worth that, I would say. The next team is Luton Town, newly promoted. I think they don't want to overspend. I understand that, obviously, having a new stand. But I feel like Joel Piroe from Swansea, my friend Oshan supports Swansea. I'm not sure if he'd be happy with this, but 10 million for Joel Piroe, I think that's a good deal, as Swansea would maybe like to reinvest that in a few other players. And I feel like Luton do need a striker because Charlton Morris can't really do it all on his own, so he does need a bit of help. And Piroe is a proven scorer, easily one of the best players in the whole of the Championship. He's been there for years and he knows exactly what he's doing. The next team is Man City. Again, could have said Guardiola, but I was struggling, so I just said Julian Brandt. I'm not sure about this one really, because he's a really good player, but 45 million, I don't think that's a good one for me there. I'd say a bit less, actually. Julian Brandt is a proven player. He knows what he's doing with Borussia Dortmund. He's always been good for them, and I think he would be a good signing. He'd be a good bench player, not first team, I would say, but maybe 45 million is a bit overpriced for him, so I reckon Man City could make a better offer than that. The next team is Man United. I think because of David De Gea leaving, I think Man United need Onana from Inter Milan. As you saw him in the Champions League finals, a goalkeeper, he was incredible. I am a goalkeeper, so I was really impressed, and I'm gonna say he kept them in that game at times, and he could have. I reckon if they would have won, he would have been man of the match of that game easily, because Onana was incredible. Some of the saves he made, he just stands out from the rest of the goalkeepers, and I'm saying he's up there with one of the best goalkeepers in the planet at the moment, and 50 million would be a really good signing for Man United. Next up is Newcastle. I feel like they need a bit more attacking power in midfield, especially because of Tonali. He's a really good player, but I think Tonali and Kudus would be a really good duo, and Kudus obviously comes from Ajax, really strong, really skillful, really good, and I think it would cost them 40 million, and obviously Newcastle don't struggle with funds, so this would be a really good signing for Newcastle, and I think he'd be very effective. The next team is Nottingham Forest. This took me a bit of time also. I thought Victor Gyökeres from Coventry last season was incredible in the Championship. He nearly got them promoted, but they was just not good enough. They were just a bit unlucky there. But 10 million for Victor Gyökeres would do the job for Nottingham Forest, as I feel like Brennan Johnson needs a bit of support there for the finishing side of it, but I feel like it would be a really good signing for Nottingham Forest. The next one is Sheffield United. Again, I've gone for a Championship player, but I feel like Chuba Akpom from Middlesbrough, the top scorer in the Championship last season. I think he had 21 goals. He was incredible. Some of his goals were incredible. He was so good last season, really consistent, and I think he's a brilliant striker, and I feel Sheffield United needs someone who can finish really well. So I'm going to say 12 million for him would be a really good deal, as he's a bit better than Gyökeres in my opinion, but he's a really good player, both of them. The next is Tottenham. I feel David Raya would be a great signing for Tottenham from Brentford, as Hugo Lloris is aging now and is not as agile and as good as he was, so I feel like David Raya would be a really good signing from Brentford for 20 million, and I feel like David Raya would be happy enough to make this move to the Tottenham Stadium, and I think he'd be really happy there, and especially because David Raya is a really good underrated goalkeeper in my opinion. Next team is West Ham. I feel like West Ham's midfield needs strengthening, especially if Declan Rice is going to leave. So I'm going to say Ward-Prowse from Southampton for 22 million. Not just his free kicks, he brings a lot to the league. I thought he was really good last year, and he was easily Southampton's best player of the year, as he has been for the last few years. And he's such a good player, and he just doesn't deserve to be in the Championship. And I'm sure any team in here would be easily happy to snap him up. The last team is Wolves. I think Wolves need a few more goals in them, so I've gone for Florian Balogun from Rennes. I think 30 million would be really good for him, and because obviously Florian Balogun is a really good player, and he was proven in Ligue 1 last season as one of the top scorers. I think he may have been the top scorer, and he was incredible last season. And I think this would really make a difference for Wolves, trying to keep them up and trying to get more and more goals into the team. As only if Jimenez is always injured, that they can't always rely on him. And if Neves is leaving, they could be in trouble. So that's it for one player every Premier League club needs. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to drop a like. It's been Griff, and I'm out.